they had a business. And the skill, the wife had good taste. That's all she had. And the husband had some rudimentary designer skills. And what they would do is they'd go around to county fairs and photograph cool things, cool antiques, cool stuff. They would put the pictures in a catalog, electronic catalog. They would take orders, and then they'd send it to a factory that they had found in Taiwan who would make it for them. And they were doing $40 million a year with 0 employees, just doing 2 catalogs a year. It's a total empty corporation. Now, these are all things that you guys can do. And you say, yeah, but I don't have good taste. How do you know? You might have unique taste. And don't start out thinking that in order to be a success, you have to do 50 million bucks. No. To be a success, all you need to do is earn the first dollar. And then it's what they call signaling. And once you're in business, the business will signal to you when it's right. And so what you want to do is there's a needle. And when you're starting to make money on things, the needle goes up and you say, gee, that tells me that this kind of strategy is working. What happens if you do something and nobody clicks, nobody buys your eBay stuff? That's a signal. The signal says, you are a shitty photographer. You are stupid by pricing it that way. You are a really good, or really bad at narrative. You describe the product in a crappy way. Change it. And so then you change it, and maybe you get a few clicks, but no buys. Stage on life's way. The needle's just a little bit off the peg. And you say, And then maybe you get a response. The market will signal you, and pretty soon you're going to figure out what to do, and then you'll be living on the top of the hill in Aspen, which is a good thing to do. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. Now, I was in university working at an amusement park. After I was doing the TV repair, I started going to college, and I started a company called the Campus Company. And it was a big piece of paper like that had a calendar of events, and I sold advertising all around the edge. You can still do this. You give it away at the beginning of every quarter. So a calendar of events, little coupons and what have you. Every school can do that. You can still do that today. Coupon books, what have you. But anyway, that was the Campus Company. And the economics were very simple. Sold $3,000 worth of ads. The printing cost was about $500, and I'd give them out for you at the beginning of the quarter. Well, the first year I did 1 school, and the next year I did 5 schools. And some of them were on quarter systems, so I'd do 1 for every quarter. And I was rolling in dough. But I had an ability to spend a lot of money. I mean, summers, I was young. Between beer and girls, I could go through a lot of dough. And And so I decided that I needed to have another job. My dad died when I was 15, so I had two younger sisters, so I felt that I had to be totally on my own. And while I lived at home, I didn't take a penny from my mother because I knew it was going to be $1 out of my younger sister's things. So I decided to take a fun job at the amusement park, which was down in my neighborhood. And so I went there, and I was actually on the midway selling balls to throw, knock down milk bottles, and win a stuffed animal. Didn't look like it was a job that was very valuable. Well, it turned out that there was a commission. Not only was it you paid minimum wage, which I thought was sucker wage, but you got commission. And so if you worked your ass off and learned how to hustle, and what it did is it helped me learn how to sell and to speak in public, like I'm doing right now. Because when you're in an amusement park, you're on stage all the time. You're basically bullshitting everybody. And as a carny, a lot of it is bullshit. But good bullshit, fun. You know. Well, I was good enough that they made me manager. And so all of a sudden I had 150 kids working for me. I was 22 years old. I had 150 kids working for me. I was training them. It was my MBA. I learned more about business management the 4 months of summer. And I really think that helped. But I knew the economics of coin-operated games. I knew how much they cost to buy, how much they needed to earn to be good. And then, while I was at the university, it was just at the beginning where they started hooking up video displays to the big computers, $1 billion computers running a little display. And a guy at MIT wrote a game called Space War. And we would sneak into the computer lab at the university that night, at night, and play the game until 4 or 5 in the morning. It really made your grades suck, but I fell in love with that game. And because I knew what was going on at the amusement park, I thought to myself, if I could take this game that I'm playing on this big screen and put it in a bar or in my arcade at the amusement park, it'd make money. So, by sheer dumb luck, I was the only person in the world that was pursuing an electrical engineering degree and working as a manager at an amusement park. And so later on, after I graduated, I saw the cost of chips coming down, and I thought, I think I can design a game, a video game. We didn't know to call it that at that time. Believe it or not, it was a game on a TV, and we called it the TV game. But video game was cooler. And later on, and I didn't even coin that. And so, to make a long story even longer, because of that two serendipity facts, I created the first commercial video game, sold them, made a lot of money, made me happy, worked really hard. Did you know that I pulled probably the year before we got the machine on the market, I think I pulled at least 20 all-nighters. It's where you don't go to bed all night, you work all night. Now, I can understand partying all night. You know, that's a whole different ballgame. But working all night, then working all the next day, then working all night again. You know, and it's very interesting. people say, oh yeah, Bill Gates. What a lucky son of a bitch. Now, I can tell you right now that he had a futon in his office, and we were talking and we were matching, and it's the old thing, rich guys sitting around drinking beer, saying, okay, Bill, I bet I've done more all-nighters than you. He said, no, I bet I've done more all-nighters than you. I said, well, when this, you tell stories, Jobs worked for me at Atari. And he was the only guy that had a futon under his desk. And very often I'd come to work and I would find him asleep under his desk. Now, a lot of people believe that Steve Jobs' illness came from when he came back from Pixar. And, they kicked Jobs out of Apple and then he came back. And a lot of people believe that the year when Apple was about to go sideways, that he was working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then he wore himself down and ended up being primed for cancer. And so I think that it's reasonable to ask yourself, do I really want to be filthy rich, or do I want to have a good life, or do I want to do both? And I don't know anybody who is really successful who doesn't work their ass off. They really, put in a lot of time. But there's a good thing. If you choose correctly, I can tell you that I have a hard time determining what is the difference between my work and my play. That's the sweet spot. Because if you can't tell the difference between your work and your play, it doesn't matter. I'm having fun. Now, ask yourself, what am I doing right now? Am I working or am I playing? Huh? No. See, I can't tell. I think there gets to be a point where I would like everyone in the world to be successful. And I believe that entrepreneurship is a pathway to that. Let's suppose you're black, and you, in the back of your head, you say, things are packed up against me because people are going to discriminate against me. No, you can think that. But with entrepreneurship, screw that. Nobody can see, there are no gatekeepers. Nobody has to say, you can become an entrepreneur. You just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to start my business. I'm going to start it today, and screw the rest of it. I'm doing this. And the only people that say no to you are your customers. So there are no blockers. Let's suppose you've been in prison. You got this big red A on your forehead. Or P, I guess. That's an old story, back in the olden days, committing adultery was a problem. Anyway. Oh God, I've got a very politically incorrect joke. No, I'm not. I get into trouble, because I am not a politically correct person. I'm very politically incorrect, and I love it. But anyway, I can tell you right now that if you guys decide to create your own job, then let it turn into your own business. Then let it turn into your own empire. Half of you in this room right now are thinking to yourself, yeah, shit, somebody can, but I can't. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. Are you saying, I'm too damn lazy? Because I guarantee you, if you're too damn lazy, that will screw you up. But it's the only one. If you push on it, and you push on it, and you have this thing called grit. What's grit? It's being able to solve adversity. And believe it or not, did you know that Atari almost went bankrupt the summer of 1974? We were in a hairbreadth, and it was hard, and I was scared. It ain't easy. You just gotta have grit, and you gotta push through, and you say, no, God damn it, I ain't gonna fail, and I'm not gonna let it happen, and I'm gonna fix it, and I'm gonna figure out what's wrong, and it's just not gonna happen. It will not happen. It won't happen. And it didn't. It was close. And the reason is I screwed up. I had totally been lazy and hadn't calculated what the cost of goods were. I had priced the product based on what I thought the goods were. And I couldn't understand why we were shipping all this product out the door and our cash was getting worse. Well, it's because the product was costing us $100 more to build than we were charging for it. So the hurrier we got, the behinder we get. And, and you say, okay, we figured out what was going on. And so then I said, okay, we've got to do a $400 price increase. My marketing guy says, we won't sell any. I says, I don't care. I don't want to sell a product that I'm giving away. I'm losing money. We increased the price $400. This was on a unit that we were selling for $1,200. So we marked it up to $1,600. The sales didn't skip a beat. Now, how stupid was that of me? How stupid. I was lazy. I didn't do my homework. And because of that, I could have lost my company. I could have lost my dream. I could have put a bullet in my head. No, I would never. Because one of the things that we know is no matter how much we screw up, it's like a game of chess. You play a game of chess, you play hard, and sometimes the other guy beats you. And you set the pieces up and you do it again. I started 20 companies. 4 of them failed. 4 of them failed because of me. I didn't analyze the market right. I didn't do, my homework. Because I was trying to do too many. I thought I was too smart. Oh yeah, I can do 7 companies at the same time. Wrong. So that's kind of where it goes. Oh, we were selling coin-operated games for about $2,000. I figured, but I knew that the coin drop in these machines over their life, 5-year life, they'd earn about $35,000. So I say $2,000, $35,000. I'm on the wrong side of this equation, so I decided to do a thing called Chuck E. Cheese, Pizza Time Theater. And it was basically a big arcade surrounded by a pizza parlor. And wait for it, talking robotic animals. And it worked. Kids love to play the video games, but bars and restaurants and bars and bowling alleys weren't a good place for them. And so it became the de facto kids' place. And of course, when we figured out to make the animals sing happy birthday to you, KB bar the door, we won big time. Because, talk about viral marketing. If you made the birthday party person feel cool, everyone they invited to the birthday party had a birthday sometime in the next year. And they wanted to do it. And so it became this perpetual juggernaut of really lousy birthday parties, according to parents. Because, you know, running 12 kids in a Chuck E. Cheese is not a giggle, I can tell you that. There were the kids who husband their tokens and are really very careful. Then there's some little boys who'll come in and they'll spend all their tokens in about a femtosecond. And then they're back to the party mother saying, I'm out of tokens, in which she wants everybody to have a good time, so she digs down deep in her pocket, buys some more tokens. Another 15 femtoseconds later, the kids are back. Anyway, it's very stressful for her mother. But they live through it, and they make me a lot of money, and I thank them very much. So, what am I doing here in Las Vegas? I am starting an entrepreneur school. Ed, the headmaster, Major Domo, and I are going to put together a curriculum to teach people very quickly how to start their business, how to account for it, what the legal structures are, all the little bullshit things that you actually, the bullshit things, you don't actually have to comply with until you get a little bit big. But it's kind of nice to know what they are so that you don't go to jail, which is always a good thing. And we're going to be doing that, and we think we can bring an awful lot of Chinese students in, kind of like a entrepreneurial boot camp, summer camp, and we're going to be looking for very, very driven teachers with grit. And you guys are encouraged to apply. And we'll teach all the stuff that you need to do to teach. But the other thing I'm doing is I've designed an immersive musical. What is an immersive musical, you ask? Instead of sitting in the audience looking at the stage, suppose that the action is media all around you. Is that you're with 40 other people walking through this environment where the media is happening. The actors are on balconies and stages around, and you walk from room to room. The first room is scene 1, the second room is scene 2, the third room is scene 3. 12 minutes per room, complete. Then you have a 24-minute intermission, and then another 3 rooms, and the whole story. And it's the story about the pong ball that we all know is actually a square. And he realizes that it's not cool because it's so square, particularly in a round world. And he discovers that when he thinks that Ms. Pac-Man is the hottest little thing that he's ever seen. But she's so round and polished, and he's just square and klutzy. And so it's his quest to round himself up a little bit and to be cool. And this is his story. It's hopefully going to open September 1st at a casino near you, or something like that.
Right. Correct.
Okay, Sam.
I think maybe if anybody has a question or wants to talk about what ideas about entrepreneurship or what's holding them back, maybe a couple minutes.
When is the school going to be open or available for us to apply?
We're aiming for our first group. We'll call it a flash class. It's a 2-week course in the summer and we think June 6th.
Yeah.
June 6th is the first one. We hope to run 10 lessons, 10 groups through during the summer. And then we start September with a 12-week program. points each for a complete Masters of Snapology, which is
Right.
it's a Snap Masters program, really.
And also, is there any like point of contact where we can contact like to get?
That's the major domo.
Doreen will have the information. Yeah. And Tommy, who's your
Tommy.
Tommy, Doreen. Does anybody have any desire to be an entrepreneur?
Do it. Just do it. That's, when I saw the thing that Nike did, just do it. That is so much what entrepreneurship is about. You wake up one morning and you just say, I'm going to do it today. And you start working on it. You just start working on it. I can remember being in Russia many years ago, and my interpreter, she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm an entrepreneur. She said, what does that mean? I said, well, I start companies. Oh, so you have a license from the government to start companies? I said, no, I just get up in the morning and I decide to start companies. I said, because the government told you could start companies? No, I just decided that I could get up and start companies. Oh, so when the government wants to start a company, they call you? I said, no, I just get up in the morning and I start a company. And she said, and to start a company, do you apply for the permits that day? I said, no, I just start doing it. And and if I need permits, I'll apply for them later. She said, don't you go to jail for that? I said, no, and it was one of the, and I was with her for 4 days in Moscow, and it was upside down her whole existence, and she could not figure out that all you had to do to start a company is just start a company, start a business, start doing deals, start offering a service. Just couldn't deal with it. Now, a lot of you may not realize it, but you're in the same boat. You have a mindset that somebody is going to give you a job. And it's sort of baked into you from a very early age, and it's detrimental. So that we are all used to having gatekeepers. Now think about the structure of the conversation. Please, sir, will you give me a job? I'm a supplicant. I'm begging. You have all the power. I have none. Makes me very sad. How do you deserve to have so much power over me? That you can choose to give me a job or not, you evil person.
Not.
Now stop being so evil to me. I want a job. I need a job. You can give me a job. Come on.
That's what I be feeling inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop being such an asshole. God damn it. I could hate you, but I'm not. But because I know that somewhere along the line, in your heart, you wanted to give me a job, but you just couldn't do it for your own reasons. So now let's change the thing. I just started a company, and I'd like you to be my first customer. I think that I have a product that's so much more powerful than the way you're doing it, that I can increase your bottom line by 25%. So, sign here. Who's got the power? You have the power. Now I've got the power. I feel better about myself. I'm no longer a supplicant. I'm in control of my life. And you can still say no to not be my thing, but I've given you an opportunity. And it's like you go into a bar and you try to pick up a hot girl. And even though she says no, there are other hot girls in the bar. That's okay. And you think, and I always used to say, that's okay. You can say no to me. And that's good because I don't ever want to date a girl with bad taste. See, I'm an old guy, and I'm trying to relive my 20s, which I loved a lot. Imagine this, being young and rich and hot all at the same time.
We won't tell you no.
Huh?
We won't tell you no.
Yeah. Well, it was, let's just say it was a good time. And being rich and young, even if you're not hot, is not bad. Yeah, it helps. And so, do you know what's really better about having money if you've made it yourself? Is you appreciate it. And I mean, you can. It doesn't look like it, but if you track the people that are unhappy, it's the people who have been given everything. When you see the partying that goes on in Belize and you know, you get, you know, the resorts of Europe, and then there's several studies that have gone back and they've interviewed these people, and they have a lot of money, they have a lot of free time, and they have a highest suicide rate in the world. It says that really, they're not having as much fun as they look. Maybe they're having the fun to patch up the fact that they know that they're worthless shits on the inside. They're just doing nothing but taking up space and spending money that they didn't earn for a lifestyle that looks glamorous, but it's actually a piece of shit. Because happiness comes from pursuing a good project, solving problems. There's a great TED Talk by a guy named Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi. He's Hungarian, so don't even try to pronounce it. In fact, somebody says that I don't pronounce it right. It's close. It's one of those names that has no vowels, because the Italians stole them years ago. No, that's why there's so many vowels in Italian and none in Hungarian. They were close, and they stole them anyway. So the trick really is to pursue something, because deep down inside, would you rather spend a year depressed, partying every night on the Costa del Sol, or in the French Riviera, or in San Diego, but being on the edge of suicide? I don't think so. You want to just be happy. And for me, I have 8 kids, and my 8 kids make me very happy, and I have given them shit when it comes to money. Nelson Rockefeller said, I would rather give my child a curse than the almighty dollar. Because you rob your children of their ability to make money. And what I tried to do is teach my kids how to be entrepreneurs, and I give them a place to stay and a roof over their head, and that's it. If they want to buy a candy bar, they have to earn it. Now, does that make me a dirty, rotten bastard? Make me a bad father? No, it makes me a good father. And as a result, they are all involved in some kind of an entrepreneurial activity. My 22-year-old son, his business will do $3 million in sales this year. I haven't given him a penny. In fact, he just lent me $10,000 because I was having a rough week. And see, that's the way. That's what family should be. Family should be about children taking care of their parents. You know, it's kind of reverse nepotism. You know, we can't choose our children, we can't choose our parents, but we can take advantage of them. Anyway, any other questions? Thanks.
Let's get a picture. Let's get a picture of everyone with Nolan, all right?
Okay.